All right, we're up and running. So it's Tuesday, and as always, thank you guys so much for taking the time to be on the call. It's like I say, it's cool that you guys are here, and I'm hoping that I can provide you guys with some insight and some information that will help you with this current launch that we've got going right now. Um, the uh, the big news is obviously, and I'll jump right into it. The big news is the new product. So the re-release of Mocha. I'm a big Mocha fan. I think it tastes really good in coffee. I think that, and if you have anybody that wants to put any of the Isogenics products in coffee, what I have personally decided what's the easiest way to do it is to take a scoop, right, of whatever flavor it is that you want. Take that scoop, stir it into about literally like as little water as you can, like 2 ounces maybe. It'll be kind of thick, but blend it up really good in that 2 ounces, maybe 3 ounces of water, and then add that to your coffee like a creamer. That's the easiest way that I've found to make it work the best with hot coffee. Now, if it's cold coffee, just throw it all together and blend it up like regular. But if you blend up hot coffee, it'll have a pressure when you open the lid. And so when you open the lid and it's hot coffee, one, it's going to cool your coffee down, and two, it's going to have pressure and it can spill all over you when you open it up. So that's my recommendation on how to use the Mocha. If somebody wants to do like a Mocha coffee, or quite honestly, any of our Isogenics products in coffee, that's how I do it. Somebody else has a better suggestion. Feel free to chime in with your suggestions as to how you mix it with coffee, but that's what has worked for the best for me. All right. The other thing that they're not getting a lot of coverage on this, but this recipe book that's in here by Isogenics in the new pack is actually really nice. It's got lots of great, it's like it's full blown color, right? So it's got other recipes other than just Isogenics stuff in it, but it's a good it's a really nice recipe, and it'll give you some ideas on like 400 and 500, 600 calorie meals. So when people are asking, what do I do? How do I do it? This recipe book is a really good add to help them out. The next thing is the Season's Joy oil. So the Season's Joy oil that came out is another line of the seasonal the oils that are available. I would encourage any of you who are looking for a gift that you can give from your Isogenics office. The oils gift set is a winner every time we've given it away, especially for like coworkers and stuff like that. And then you give them the oil that you actually want to smell, and then when they have their diffuser going, it's something that you actually want to smell. But I would encourage using the oils as a great gift for anyone Christmas wise. So you can get the Isogenics diffuser, you can get a different diffuser, whatever you want to do, but the oils is a great way to give from your office. Okay, so it's a great way to give from your own back office. I got Tracy a gift today as one of the things. So this was the coffee cup that was offered up in the new gift catalog. So it's got the Isogenics A on one side, and then it's got the the healthy change on the other, and it's a nice size coffee cup. So it's a full, I've got my hand on it, so it's probably the size of a softball, right? A little bit bigger. All right. From there is the bone broth. So there's two different types of the bone broth. Okay, there's two different types. Type 1 is the regular beef bone broth. It's a little bit more peppery. It's a little bit heavier in consistency as far as like to the taste bud, not to the actual liquid, but it just has a heavier taste to it. But it's a beef bone broth. And then the other one is the chicken bone broth. Now, the chicken bone broth is made with beef collagen. Okay, so understand that, right? So the collagen is what you want, and the chickens don't have it. Okay, so they boil the bones down, right, from the beef cattle, right? So they boil those bones down into, and some people say, oh, I make my own bone broth. Well, Tracy's been making bone broth forever. We had it last night because she made it last night. You've got, for those of you who understand this, you'll agree. And for those of you who hear other people saying, oh yeah, I make bone broth, you can probably say bullshit, you really don't. Because most people don't boil the bone down to the level that they need to boil them in order to really break down the collagen and get it out and get the bone broth out of there, because you've got to break the actual bones down. You've got to simmer it down to the point that it's almost like a congealed substance. I mean, it's not liquid and watery when you've broken it all the way down, when you've simmered it all the way down to what's necessary. So just know that just simply heating up some bones and boiling them for a while doesn't give you true bone broth, right? So this really takes a big step out of the production of that, because now you're getting a high quality bone broth that you can use without all the effort that takes from going through and trying to do it yourself. So, and then the chicken based is beef based bone broth. Try to say that 10 times fast. Beef based bone broth. And then they add a chicken seasoning to it to give it that lighter flavor. Okay. So that's the difference between the two, just so you guys understand the difference. Now, both of them, sitting here side by side, so I make sure I've got the right info here, right? So both of them are, well, okay, I'm glad I did put them side by side, because the vegetable flavored is only 40 calories and the beef flavored is 45. The vegetable flavored is one carb, and the beef is 2 carbs. Both of them are 8 grams of protein, and the vegetable version is only 340 milligrams of sodium, and the beef is 410. Okay, so those are the primary differences. So there are some differences. And then somebody was asking about black powder, and they both have black powder in them. So, and it's cool. I mean, when you look at the ingredients, I mean, it's nice and clean to read, right? So natural flavors, the garum gum, the acacia gum, xanthium gum, which are the thickeners, and then pink Himalayan sea salt, and the silicone dioxide, onion oil, onion powder, black pepper, and garlic powder. So it's nice, clean. It's a good, clean product, right? So you're not going to have any trouble explaining this away and showing people what they're using and all that kind of stuff. So they come in 15 servings per box. So if you want one a day, you need 2 boxes. Otherwise, one every other day, you can just get 1 box. And I've already had the vegetable-based one. I have not yet had the beef-based one. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions about those, keep them to yourself for just a second, and then I'm going to go over the CBD oil again and let you guys know about it, and then we can open this up for some good questions, because this may be this can be an important aspect, especially for those of you who are doing this as everybody that's on here is trying to do this as a business. Okay, CBD oil. This is it, right? So it's in kind of a dark canister. It says CBD right on the front of it, and it's nice and clean looking. It's got like the like little rubber squeezy on top, right? And it's a 750 milligrams of product. Okay, when you open it up, the dropper is clear, kind of it's a glass, and it says it's got half milliliter, full milliliter, and 1.5 milliliter markers on it. So when you squeeze it and release, it'll give you a full 1 milliliter of the product. And that is what it's supposed to do, right? Like, I don't even know how you could get 1.5 in there. Like, I guess you'd have to sit there maybe, I don't even know if you squeeze it repeatedly, because every time you squeeze it, let it out, it goes away. So all you're going to really get out of this is 1 milliliter. So if you want more than that, you're going to have to take it and then take more. But a serving is 1 milliliter. Okay, it is a very pepperminty flavor. So to me, it tastes like the very first bite of like a really pepperminty gum. So if you've got like a favorite gum that's peppermint, and that very first bite you get and how that strong peppermint hits you, that's what it tastes like. Since it is CBD oil, it is a little bit of a oil, so it takes a minute for it to really kind of dissipate out of your mouth once you take it, right? However, it's not bad, right? So like, it's almost like something like, if your breath smelled bad, right, you could try take it, and it would kind of help out with some breath issues for some people, right? So it's not bad from that aspect. It doesn't, like I say, there's no negative taste to it at all. However, now that I'm saying that I'm tasting it, you guys need to know that, again, that's what I was talking about with Durka, is you there are no products out there that the FDA, there are no CBD products out there that the FDA approves for consumption. None, zero. So anybody that's saying, oh, well, what about sublingual? I even saw it in the Isogenics chat when they were talking about the release of it. People are saying, oh, well, can you take, can you consume it? And, what's the difference of this versus sublingual, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Any of those questions are all, if somebody asks you that question, they're not educated. Okay. Now, and it's your opportunity to be the educator. So if somebody says, oh, well, why can't you consume yours? Because you can consume mine. And you say, then that's your perfect opportunity for you to say something along the lines of, the FDA doesn't approve any CBD for consumption, and Isogenics follows the FDA guidelines on all of our products, right? Again, it lets us take the high road, okay? We have provided it, we have created it, Isogenics has created it to meet and exceed all FDA food safety guidelines, even though we can't say that it's consumable. Well, why would we do that? Well, we do that because we have hopes that the FDA will eventually come to their senses and allow it to be consumable, recognize it as a consumable, beneficial product, okay? And that is your opportunity to educate, okay? Because when somebody says, oh, well, the one I use is, consumable, and you can, no, it's not. Gasoline is consumable, right? If you want to drink it, you can consume it. It ain't smart, right? But it's consumable. So when somebody says, oh, well, I can consume this, well, you can, but you're not supposed to, right? So you've kind of got to get this whole, you've got to understand your role when somebody says that to you. Okay, so if anybody asks, is it consumable? Your response should be something along the lines of, Isogenics meets or exceeds all FDA guidelines in all of our food products, including this, and therefore we say that it's for topical use only, understanding that many people may choose to consume it. Okay, and that's the way I'm going to talk about it every time. I'm going to say, for Isogenics, we don't promote that you can consume it. However, many people do, and Isogenics' product is fully tested on, it fully meets or exceeds any food-based guidelines. So there's nothing in here that's going to cause them any problems, right? Including, metals or any other properties that would be hazardous if they were consumed even in your regular food. I don't know how many of you saw, there was an article, and I don't really like to post these in Great Nutrition just because sometimes people get weird when you do and whatever. But there was an article and it talked about the worst fast food places to get your food from, and it listed Arby's, it listed I think Burger King, and there was one other one where they talked about all the antibiotics that go into their food, or you go into the meat, right? That their beef cattle that they use. Taco Bell was one of them. All of the heavy antibiotics that are given to their cattle that are used in their product. Chipotle was actually really well ranked. It was like the number one non-bad, if you want to say, right? However I always say that, right? So it was just kind of interesting. That's yeah, Tracy said it stinks up your house. Bone broth. But yeah, so that's the thing I would tell you about the product and kind of give you that insight. So does anybody have a question that maybe I can at least give you some, because I have been reading a ton. Tracy will tell you, I've been reading a bunch on CBD because I don't like to talk about something that I don't have at least some basic knowledge, or at least be able to refer them back to a specific study or article to verify my point. So if anybody's got a question, feel free to ask it. Was there anything in the chat that I need to look at, Trace? Is there any THC at all? Federal regulations are 0.03 or below, but it would still test positive. So Isogenics confirms that we meet or exceed all guidelines when it comes to CBD. CBD hemp has to be 0.03. But what I've been told, Marcy, unless you know something different, is that if your consumption of a product is at that level of 0.03, you would have to consume like a lot of it to even show any type of a test. Like I was giving the example that you'd have to like literally like consume like a gallon of something that had a 0.03 in order to be positive on any type of drug test. That's what I was told. Now, again, if somebody else has something different on that, speak up, but that's what I was told, that you would have to drink literally like a gallon of this stuff to be able to to show any version of a positive test because of the low amount. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so that's kind of the it on the new products. I can tell you guys also, since those of you that are on here don't have a huge turnout tonight, I can tell you guys that are on here, there's more products coming. I know that they're going to release some additional products. I don't know what they are, but they did say that they were. Well, I know what one of them is. The hydrate's still coming. So the newly reformed hydrate's still coming, and there I know they didn't tell us which one it was, but I know there's another seasonal shake coming. So I don't know what it is. You know, my guess would be pumpkin spice, but I don't know. And please don't promote that all over the place, because then people get mad when it's not it. But my belief is that would make the most sense, because that's product that they usually release this time of year. But again, I could be wrong. And when I say I don't know, I truly don't know. Like I have no idea. So, but I do know that they said they were going to do one more seasonal shake during this time period. Okay, so I would anticipate that. Will they get more blenders? No idea. I don't know the answer to that either. My bet would be, Beth, is the answer is no, because I will bet you that they made an order through that company, because you saw in there it was a co-branded blender with that company, that company that makes those blenders, Pro Blend or whatever it's called. So they did a co-branding with them. So my belief is they probably did a one-time co-branding with them to see what would happen. So if they do it again, it'll probably be later. Would be my belief. Let's see. Yeah, I wish. Anybody feel like a great deal on the e-shots? Nothing on that. Oh, Pro Mix. Yes, correct. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to turn the chats off because I'll get distracted, and all distractions are equal, right? All right. So, but anyway, so that's kind of the that's the basic information I can give you on the products that we have and the potential products that are coming. Okay. And I'm super excited about it. I was listening to a podcast today from Eric Hoover that he did a live today, and he was talking about, you know, all of the great things that are coming with the company. And like I told you guys last week, I really expect that this company is going to look completely different to everyone a year from October. I think by the time Celebration rolls around next year, the look and the feel of this company is going to be a lot different because we're coming into these different product lines of the BIA. They said in Kathy Coover came out with some deal. I don't remember where I saw it, but that it has exceeded all expectations of consumption, not just initial consumption, but like it's even exceeding the expectations of the reorders already. So BIA is being a hit. Lots of people are loving it, and lots of people are using it, which is a great thing, because as that product continues to move forward, that's a big deal. Interesting side note, for those of you that are in Michigan, apparently you get a 10 cents back on every can. So there's, I think it was Michigan and Hawaii or something. So if you're a recycler, you get 10 cents back. And if you look along the rim of the bottle or the can, the top of the can, it gives you initials for every state and how much you get back. So Arizona is not listed, but there are several states that were listed that you get 5 cents per can. And then I know Michigan, and I don't remember, it was one other state, I thought it was Hawaii, you got 10 cents back per can. So kind of interesting side note, if you're buying it there, you know, you're saving an extra 10 cents a can if you take the time to recycle after a period of time anyway. So see, I did do the BIA with the e-shot, and I've done that a few times. It's actually not bad. So I saw Travis Ogden do it, so I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So I've dumped the best flavor though is the raspberry for me anyway. So the raspberry in the BIA is actually pretty good for kind of a midday thing. And somebody said, "Oh, is that kind of expensive?" And I'm thinking, well, a Bia is a little over $3 a can, and an E-shot's around $3. So that's let's call it $6.50, even rounded up to $7. How many of you have gone to Starbucks and gotten a frou-frou drink that cost you $7 or more, right? So to me, is it more? Yeah, it is. I mean, it costs more than what, the individual item is. But I can tell you, there's plenty of times I've met people at Starbucks or the coffee shop or whatever, and they've ordered some frou-frou drink that's, $7, $8 to get the same bump with not nearly the nutritional value. So yeah, I don't have any issue at all with saying that it's usable that way. Why did some hydrate? Oh, you did some hydrate with it? That's cool. That would probably be good as well. And as the new hydrate comes out, I'm anticipating that there'll be good things from that. All right. So I'm going to go a little bit off script just because I see the people that are on here. So one of the things that I'm doing, Michelle's doing, and Todd Wilkinson are doing, and Sasha is also doing, is we started reading that book Money by Tony Robbins. So Michelle's actually, she's a smart person and she likes to read, so she's actually reading it. I'm listening to it on Audible. But I am taking notes. So I would encourage you guys, not from an isogenics, so much of an isogenic standpoint, at least not at this point in the book, but I'm deep into chapter 2. And I would tell you that it's worth your time to read that book. And it's not a hoorah book, right? Even though Tony Robbins wrote it, I was kind of like, oh man, I got referred to it. And I was like, all right, I'll read it. But the person that referred it to me isn't really a hoorah person. So I was like, all right, I'll read it since they suggested it. And I'm really enjoying it. And Michelle said the same thing, that she was like, I really wasn't expecting to like it, and she's really liking it. But I got to tell you, it's really changing my mindset about some of the things that I thought I knew when it comes to your investment funds, your 401ks, your IRAs, your mutual funds, and things like that. And it'll give you some, I already told Tracy that she needs to tell our financial planner that he needs to read it, because he's going to need to do some explaining and some conversation. And I don't want to just jump it on, because I really do like the guy. But he's going to need to have read it so that he can explain to me what my questions are going to be in a professional manner, because my questions are going to be why and how much is this costing me, in a different way than what you're probably thinking. Okay. So I would encourage you guys to read it. And it's been really good. Now, one of the things that I thought was really good that is isogenics related is, Michelle, go ahead and unmute yourself. So one of the things I really felt was interesting that was isogenics related is the 6 principles. And Michelle, what are they actually called? Not 6 principles, they're called something else. 6 guiding values. What is it?
You're catching me off guard. I can go get it.
Okay. Yeah. If you wouldn't mind, I appreciate it. Anyway, so there's these 6, I'll call them principles because I can't remember the word, but they're basically, and the reason it's important to know is it's kind of like the DISC training that many of us have taken over time, where, you're this type of a person or that type, in isogenics, it's, are you a red? Are you a yellow? Are you a white? Are you a blue? Well, he takes it down a little bit further. And I've actually heard these before, and it may have been through Tony Robbins. I don't remember. Or maybe Eric Worre. I can't remember. But anyway, it talks about what are your drivers. Okay. So I'll give you an example. Is your driver significance? Okay. Is something that you strive for significance, meaning that is the thing that makes you the happiest and the thing that makes you feel the best when you are being applauded or recognized or sought out for your expertise or something along those lines, right? Significance, right? One of the other ones is companion. It's something to do with companionship. And I don't have my notes here with me because I keep it in my truck, because that's where I listen to the podcast at. But the companion.
You're not taking notes while you're driving, are you?
Yeah, I am. But I did it for 21 years, so I'm good with it. The one other one is based off of companionship. So again, is the place that you feel best in life where you're with other people and you're being engaged by them and loved by them and hugged by them and not necessarily recognized and held up, but is that your driver? Is that something that really drives you and inspires you? Michelle, you have it there?
Yeah, they're needs, basically.
Basic needs, yeah.
Called need one is certainty and comfort.
So certainty and comfort,
right? Which is mine.
Yeah, so certainty and comfort. Do you know where the place that you can receive the most certainty is at?
You asking me?
Yeah, you know where the place you can see the most certainty is at?
What's that?
It's true. It's going to sound like I'm being a smartass, but it's true. It's prison.
Yeah, true.
Right? You receive the most certainty in prison, right?
Yep.
Because that is the place, right, where you're certain that you're going to get fed. You're certain that you're going to have a place to sleep. You're certain that your basic needs are going to be met at that location. Okay. Now, obviously, there's some bad shit that can happen while you're in prison. However, the point is that that's a place of extreme certainty, right? Now, that may not be the place that provides you the second level of that, which is comfort, but certainty and comfort are things that people seek out, right? A lot of people that are, and Michelle, this probably fits you as well, because it fit me from that category, is if you are a government state type employee, right? A lot of us fall into that certainty factor, right? It's like, well, I have a great job and I have great benefits and I have I have a paycheck that comes every 2 weeks. And so all of this other stuff, it sounds a little bit weird to me because I really am not, that doesn't fit me because your certainty isn't being met from Isogenics, okay? Because your income with Isogenics isn't certain, right? Until you have done things to make it so. So the initial part of Isogenics is really uncertain, right? So if you want to take my, and I'll just use me as an example. If you want to take my life as a police officer versus my life and career as with Isogenics, right? So they eclipsed each other, right? Now I wasn't doing Isogenics at the time that I was a police officer, but this is what it would look like, right? This being the certainty of police department, right? And this being the certainty or uncertainty of Isogenics, right? So they kind of eclipsed each other, right? And then Isogenics became far more certain than my income or my pension from the police department, okay? I was reading a bunch of stuff on pensions the other day, and they were talking about specifically about Arizona pensions. And they were talking about how, the government is, the local government is trying to constantly they're trying to make efforts to borrow against our pension, right? Against the pension system. And they're talking about how they're going to fund the existing pension systems, right? So even though you go into that job with the expectation of that certainty of that pension, now it's like there's actually a lot of indicators there that are saying, look, that's not that certain, right? You might put in, in Bob's case, right? I mean, he's still on right now. So he's, I did just over 20 years, almost 21 years. Bob's doing he's going to be probably about 30 by the time he's done. And he's done that for the purpose of certainty, right? So his big want or his big need is certainty, right? So he's done that for that certainty. But as what's happened with a lot of other cities across the United States is if that pension fails, then all that certainty that you believe you had can go away. And I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that's kind of how we're at with certainty. So what's the next one, Michelle?
Variety.
So variety is a big driver, right? This is almost the exact opposite of certainty, right? To some degree, because variety is like, oh man, you know what? I've got to go do this because it's just different. I've done that. It's the person that changes jobs, not because they don't love the job, but because they just want to do something different, right? I did that for a while. I'm going to go do something different. Okay. And it's that need for variety, whether it's a variety of challenge, whether it's the variety of, a lot of people will leave Isogenics and go to another network marketing company. Why? Because this gets boring, right? Tracy and I answer the same questions. And when I say hundreds of times, I literally mean hundreds of times, okay? over and over and over and over and over again. Now, if we wanted variety, we'd go to another network marketing company. Because I go to another network marketing company, I can have a whole new experience, I can have new excitement, all that kind of stuff. But you'll see people that will jump from one network marketing company to another because they want variety. They probably weren't amazing at the one they were at, but they saw this one over here and they thought, well, maybe I can do that. And so then they jump over and do that one. And then like, oh, that was okay, but I'm going to go do another one. And they're waiting for their one, they like the variety, they like the change. And the other is sometimes they're just looking for the lotto, right? But that's variety. Okay, so does variety play a role in your basic needs? Okay, do you feel a need for variety in some portion of your life? And if you do, it's not good or bad. It's just something you need to recognize. And the same thing that goes back with consistency and comfort. There's nothing wrong with consistency and comfort. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying you just need to be aware if that's one of your drivers. Because if it is, this business is going to be a little bit, you're going to have to approach this business in a more different way than somebody who's got one of the other basic needs. Okay, go ahead, Michelle.
I love under variety though, he says, do you like surprises? If your answer was yes, you're kidding yourself because you like the surprises that you want, not the surprises you don't.
Yeah, that's true, right? Everybody says, oh, do you like surprises? You're like, yeah, I love surprises. Then you go, really? Well, what the surprise is somebody freaking T-bones you.
Right.
You know? Surprise! That's not the surprise you wanted, right? So we like the surprises that we want, right? Not the surprises that we don't.
Need 3 was significance. You said that one already, right?
Yeah, significance. Significance is one, again, not necessarily good or bad. It just is what it is. So if you've got a need for, if your need is significance, and I know that's one of mine, right? I'll admit it, right? That's one of mine. I like the significance. You know what? I promoted to lieutenant within the Phoenix Police Department. Why? Because I wanted it, right? That was the next spot, right? I wanted that, right? And I wanted to be ahead of Bob when I left. So, but significance is a driver for me, and I know that, right? So I understand that, and so if significance isn't a driver for you, that might be why some of you might be having a really tough time with social media, right? Because like, I don't really want to play that role because I'm not comfortable in playing that role of significance because that's not really my thing. And so therefore, I don't really want all those attention. I don't want that attention on me. But for me, I know if people are watching me, I do better, right? Because it forces me to act, right? If I got somebody looking at what I'm doing, so if I'm putting on Facebook, hey, I'm working out, 2-3 times here, there, whatever, right? Like right now I'm doing this whole thing where I'm popping around all these different gyms and checking them all out. Well, if I put that down that I'm checking out all these gyms, guess what that does? That forces me to increase my level of fitness, because now I can't be saying, hey, I'm jumping around all these gyms and then look like I can't jog down the street, right? So I'm forcing myself with a different level of significance that way, right? If I'm running around telling everybody, hey, look, Tracy and I are doing great, and then all of a sudden, something happens and we're like, oh, we're in trouble because, it didn't pay a bill or something, that's not good, right? Because then that makes everything fraudulent. So I know that we have to say we're doing what we're doing, but I also know that what we say we're doing, we have to actually be doing. Because if I'm not, then I don't want to be caught short, because then that would impact significance, right? Because then people are like, shit, don't ask him, he's a liar, right? That's not where you want to be. Okay. What's the next one?
Need 4, love and connection.
Love and connection. That's a big one, right? That's a big one, I think, for a lot of people, right? It's that need of love, that need of connection, that need of if I asked all of you to close your eyes for 10 seconds and think of the person that you love the most, right? And really visualize that person or that group of people, right? If you've got a family, then some of you would be like, boom, it would really happen really quick, right? Some of you might be like, I don't know, I gotta think about that because I've got different categories of love and appreciation. But that can still play a role in how you connect with people. And a lot of these, you've got to recognize that this is a role that you need to be able to fulfill for them. Okay. So, and I'm not saying this because me and Michelle don't know each other that well, but what I do know about Michelle is she has a real need of connection, right? So we've kind of bonded because I recognize that, right? If I thought her need was all significance and I was just like throwing all this stuff to her about significance, I don't think it would feel right to her. But the true connection, joking, talking, telling tales and stuff like that is another form of connection. And that's kind of increased our bond between me and Michelle, just because we joke a lot with that kind of stuff, which I enjoy. So.
Those first 4 were needs of the personality. So the next 2 are needs of the spirit. And he talks about how most people don't usually get to 5 and 6. Like you're more evolved if you get to 5 and 6. So 5 is growth. If you're not growing, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank or how many friends you have. You're not going to experience real fulfillment if you're not growing.
That was a really good one too, Michelle. And I want to touch on that, and I'll let you finish that portion. His comment about growth was, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you kind of got to think about that, not only in your, and again, because this is an Isogenics call, not only in your Isogenics business, but also in your personal relationships. Okay. I've talked to you guys a little bit on this. We don't talk about it a whole lot, but Tracy and I were at the point where like our relationship was very, very close to being severed. So because the relationship was dying, right? Your relationship's either growing or it's dying. And I think that's the true with all of our relationships, right? They can only eat, because if you try to fool yourself and say, oh no, I'm plateaued, it's dying, right? Because you're not growing that relationship. The same thing goes with and whatever your religious beliefs are, or any of those kind of things. Are you growing that belief, or are you letting it die? Because you've got to feed it. And really understanding growth and understanding that is a big thing, because if you're trying to talk to somebody about significance and they're really trying to grow their relationship with maybe themselves, then you're probably leading them down the bat. You're not going to make a good connection with that person. So you've really got to talk about, you kind of got to identify these people that you're talking about. That's why, a lot of people are taking this opportunity with Isogenics right now to say, oh, we're selling this, we're selling that. That's fine. You want to say you're selling something, that's fine. I wish you wouldn't, but I would prefer that you continue to build your relationships and make yourself appear to be the person that's willing to actually communicate and make a good relationship with people. That's a big. Hey Tracy, you're not muted. Oh, there you go. She's muted. So it's really important to understand what growth is and what growth looks like and how it feels, not just for you, but for the person that you're talking to. Go ahead and finish it, Michelle.
The last one is contribution, which I thought connected a lot with Isogenics, because he talks about sharing enhances everything and that you are creating meaning, and we all as a team help each other and inspire each other, and which personally for me gives me meaning. So
yeah, absolutely. And the contribution is what it's a driver for a lot of people, but some people won't get there. And when you think about what you're contributing, and some of those contributions can be through time, some of those contributions can be through money, or some of those contributions can be through knowledge and sharing of that knowledge, that sort of thing. So on a very shallow basis, in the Isogenics world, your contribution is Michelle has lost over 100 pounds in Isogenics and she refuses to tell anybody about it. Okay, she's not contributing to somebody else's growth and experience. Okay, so if Michelle was she's not, just so you guys know, I'm not saying that's what she's doing, but if somebody has had great results with Isogenics and they refuse to share that information, there's probably something else there that's causing that refusal. Okay, maybe they don't want any maybe they're scared of significance, right? Maybe they don't understand contribution. Okay, because they just the idea of contributing to them just isn't there, right? He does a really cool thing. Tony Robbins talks about a real cool thing in there. He says, if you're not giving, when you're making $1,000, if you're not giving away $100, when you're making $1 million, you're not going to give away 100,000. Okay, so if you're not if you're not contributing when you're doing a little, you're not going to, don't fool yourself. Don't think, and you guys heard me say this before, don't fool yourself into thinking that you're going to give a lot when you have a lot, because you won't.
Mm-hmm.
Won't. It's not in your DNA. And that's, again, I'm not judging. It's not good or bad. It's just, it's not in your DNA, and you're not going to give more because you have more, you know, and because everybody can give something, again, whether it's money, knowledge, time, whatever it is, you can give something back to the people that are around you, right? And it's really important to recognize that at whatever level of contribution you're comfortable with. Okay, I'm a believer. I mean, I see myself as busy. Sometimes I don't think I'm as busy as I could be, but I see myself as busy. But we do a significant amount of financial contribution to some of the things that we feel strongly about. Okay, so that's our contribution level financially. And then, you know, we're fortunate enough that we're being asked now to be on a couple of different community boards, and so we're going to start now donating, I'll call it donating, or dedicating additional of our personal time to be a part of some of these community boards that we're being asked to be a part of. Not for any reason other than just to be a part of some giving back. One of them is a local youth, kind of a troubled youth program that we got invited to be a part of, and so we're going to take advantage of that and do that. So, but those are the ones, right? That's all in chapter 1. Okay, just so you guys know, so you don't have to get too far into the whole book to really hear what those are. But that's chapter 1, and I would just really encourage you to look into this book and see it. Chapter 2 is, like I say, it's getting into the myths of money, some of the myths of money. But the cool thing is, it's giving some real steps that you can take versus just a lot of, you know, maybe ifs and wishes and, you know, hyperbole, if you will. So I would encourage you to take a look at it. Michelle, what have you got to offer for it?
It is definitely not normally what I read at all. I took a look at the cover and was like, oh my God, that's going to be seriously boring. But which is one of the reasons that I decided to do it with you, is because it was going to make me do it. Doing it with somebody else would make me do it. But it's actually very well written. He uses a lot of humor to keep you engaged in it, and it's not just about money. It's, you know, there are very practical tips to deal with money, but it's a lot more than that.
Where are you at now in the book?
I'm on myth 6.
Oh,
so chapter 2.6.
You're three myths ahead of me. I got to catch up. And you're reading and I'm listening, so go figure.
I told you I cannot listen or I will not understand it. I have to see it. I'm old school.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I hope, I didn't mean to turn this into a book club session, but I really felt strongly enough about that part that and seeing the group that's on here, I thought it would be beneficial to kind of share that piece. So good stuff. All right, Michelle, you going to do U+2?
Do I have to?
Heck yeah.
It's been a while.
I know. That's why I'm asking to do it. All right, let me get you shared here. All right, so I'm going to have you do you share, they share, okay? And we're going to do this with today's if you sign somebody up with today's bundle.
Oh, right? Lord.
Because the bundle doesn't require any talk about PIB, okay? So we're just going to do today's bundle.
Okay, I'm going to need a lot of help.
I'll help you. All right. So you're going to sign, so I'm here, this is me. And you're going to walk me through enrolling 2 people.
Okay. Do you have 2 people that you think would sign up with you today?
Yes, I do. It's
okay.
Beth and Mary Ellen.
Okay.
So I'm going to put Beth over here and I'm going to put Mary Ellen over here, and they're ready to go. They both like weed, but I know that they'll just go with the CBD.
Okay. I'm stuck now.
Okay, so if I enroll Beth and I put her on the current bundle, right? Then that bundle costs 100 and whatever it is,
77, I think it
$177.
was.
Okay, so let's say $177, right? So you're gonna get 10% of that number. Okay, so I'm gonna earn $17. Okay, and
Yep.
then I'm gonna enroll Mary Ellen with the same bundle, $177. So I'm gonna get 10% of that number. So I'm gonna get $17. Right, 17. I put those offset, filtered a little bit. That's $34. Okay, so I just made $34 because I enrolled Beth and Mary Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now what else can I earn? What have I become?
Consultant,
Correct. And how much do you earn for becoming a consultant?
25,
50.
50.
And right now through the end of the year, don't worry, Michelle, you're doing good. So I promise you, there's plenty of people on here that didn't even know there was probably a bonus. So $50 for becoming a consultant, and then there's an additional bonus that's good through the end of the year. Do you know how much that is?
No.
Okay, it's 100. Okay, so
Oh, I did know that.
yeah, so it's $150 if they become a consultant within the first 30 days of enrolling, not of becoming an associate. It's of converting to associate. Okay,
Yep.
so first 30 days converting to associate. So in this particular case, this person just made $184. Okay, because they shared with two people. Okay, now we're going to show them how to share with two more. So Beth is going to sign up with two people. She's going to sign up two people. And I'm going to show Mary Ellen how to sign up two people. And Mary Ellen's going to make whatever she makes, and Beth is going to make whatever she makes.
Oh, yeah.
But how much do I make? How much do I make? How much do I make for creating two consultants? Actually, how much do I make for creating one consultant?
I don't know, but you're a manager.
Okay, but before that, right? So I created consultant Beth, so that paid me $100, and then Mary Ellen became a consultant, so that's another $100, right? So I'm at $384 because I did you share, they share. Okay, now I can earn this consultant bonus, so creating these little things, right? I can earn 40 of those, right? So I can literally earn $4,000 just for creating consultants. Okay, up to $4,000 in creating consultants. Now, you're correct. I became a manager. So what does that pay to become a manager?
100.
$250.
Oh,
So
way
$250 if you become a manager. And do you know how long you have?
60?
Correct. 60 days from the day that you become an associate. So you have 60 days to earn this $250 bonus. Okay. So now we're at, what is that? 4, 3, and 6. So I'm at $634 because I did you share, they share. Okay. So now when somebody says, how can I afford what I'm doing? Right. This is one of the ones that really, this is one that really gets me when I see people talking about on the page about, the costs and such of Isagenix. And I always look to see who their sponsor is and stuff like that. And I'm wondering, did they show them this? Now, some people, I could show them this and they could even be experts at it. And they're just not going to do it. And that's okay. It's just, I really want to make sure that they know that it's possible. Okay. So now along those lines, in addition to that, from the team, they can earn another $100 just for throwing a sip and sample, right? So if they throw a sip and sample, they can make another $100, okay, for throwing their very first sip and sample. So that's another way that you can show people how they can afford this product. Because if they're just willing to open up their home and invite their friends, and Michelle goes over and does it for them, that's their sip and sample. Right? And I really want you guys to take advantage of the sip and sample opportunity out there, because quite honestly, we're not getting a lot of requests for them. And I don't mind saving the $100, but I'd really rather see it being spent and you guys using it in a manner that's growing your teams. Okay, because if nobody's spending the money, I mean, we'll keep it, but I don't. But my goal is to, I'd like to see, I don't know, 10 or 15, maybe 20 of those a month happening, just because I know how powerful it can be for the growth of your team. So I'd really encourage more people to be doing those sip and samples in order to make that happen. All right. Okay. Any questions on that? Thank you, Michelle, for playing along. I appreciate it. Keep drawing that out, though. Draw it out on your own napkin. Like you said, you're a reader, so get your tablet and draw it out so that you have it. If nothing else, you have it so that you've already got it nicely drawn out for you, the way you would like it to look, so that when you talk to somebody, you can literally point to it, and then that way you can walk yourself through it.
Okay? I have it in my notes. I just don't have my notes with me. So.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. So I just want you to get that flow going, because it's going to be important for you. Okay. All right. So with the other incentives that are going on right now, you guys, the NYKO incentive, the team incentive is still ongoing. I encourage you guys to go after that. You get your 5 enrollments, get your rank advancements, that sort of thing. There's some money to be made there. You can earn up to $1,000 if you do all the steps to help you get to NYKO. So that's a possibility for those of you that want to, to kind of go to NYKO with at least some or part of your expenses covered. I would encourage you to take a look at the NYKO challenge. Right now, also make sure that if you order the bundle, or if any of your team members order the bundle, that they do a screenshot of that in the Great Nutrition under the post that I made, or if they post their screenshot of their order, that they'll be in a drawing for the I think we did a quesadilla or a mocha shake or something like that. So make sure that they put their screenshot there for that. And I think that's the two big. Oh, here's one for you guys that it went nowhere. I shouldn't say it didn't go anywhere. It got one person, which, quite honestly, if an incentive gets one person, I'm content with that. I'd like to see more, but we ran that incentive where if you converted to an associate, we were going to do a drawing for some product, or I don't know if it's product or money, but we had one person converted to associate and submitted the information. So only one person converted to associate. So under that contest guidelines. So it's those kind of things that, and I know why that's happening. The main reason, because I know we've got more people that have converted to associate, because I can see it in the downline report, right? So when I pull the downline report, I can see how many people in the downline have converted, right? But what's not happening is that the team member leaders aren't telling everybody about the incentives. And if you guys know about them, but you don't tell anybody, then the incentives are kind of worthless, because you guys are engaged anyway, right? I'm not trying to run an incentive to have Michelle win the incentive, right? I would rather run the incentive and have one of Michelle's team members win the incentive. If you're on this call, I would prefer you never win an incentive again, honestly, because if your team members are winning those incentives, then you're getting more than just whatever little incentive we're offering, right? You're getting far more benefit from I want you to use the incentives to help your team grow, versus saying, oh, I'm going to get the incentive. Oh, Brent's offering extra money because if you do a sip and sample. Well, if I offer a sip and sample and everybody on here does a sip and sample, there's nothing from that, because you guys are doing sip and samples anyway, or you should be, right? The reason for those incentives is to give you a tool for you to use, right? If I give you a hammer and you hit yourself in the face with it, that's not the goal, right? The goal is I give you a hammer to build something cool, right? So when I give you cash that says, hey, look, if somebody does this, if you're not sharing that with your team and you're not encouraging your team to take advantage of those tools or use those tools, then you're really kind of missing out on the point of the tool. Okay, so that's my goal for you guys to do that. And then lastly, before I kick off, Carla is running that. She's flying back, so she's flying back from visiting her daughters this weekend in Florida. So she's running that 7-day business challenge. I encourage all of you to take a look at that. Do some portion of it. If you don't comfortable doing all of it, that's okay, but do some portion of it. and since she's not on here, I'll say it here. You guys, if you guys would give, kind of a thank you, some significance to her for trying to run that program, I would appreciate that. But the best reward she can get from that, or the best flattery she can get from that, is for everybody to engage in it. Okay. So if you guys would engage in it, talk about it a little bit, that would be a huge deal. Because I'm telling you guys, I've been thinking about this, and I don't know how to say it all the time, but this business, you guys, will offer you something that you're just never gonna, that I couldn't have seen anywhere else, right? Tracy and I could not have accomplished what we've accomplished had it not been for this business. And it wasn't until we decided to really do it that we started reaping the rewards. But you guys, I hope that you see that we continue to do it. We continue to do it every day. We're continually engaged in the pages. We're continually engaged in the activities of it. We're doing something every single day. And I'm telling you, I was going back and forth with somebody who was giving me some information about why they couldn't do the different parts of this. And I'm telling you guys right now, the benefit of this business, if you'll see the forest through the trees, is overwhelmingly significant. Okay. If you would just put your effort into the growth, I promise you guys it's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. I was talking to somebody, I had this, I'll go off a little bit of story here. I was doing some Instagram messaging, right? So I'm trying to, create a conversation on Instagram. And so I started this conversation, I'll find this initial portion of this conversation so you guys can see what I actually said that started the conversation. And this conversation has really led into like a long back and forth. And this girl keeps trying to get me to jump on her team call, which is cool. I'm good with it. She keeps jumping back and forth with me, trying to get me to jump on it. And yeah, she's already messaged me back from earlier. All right, cool. So this whole conversation started with, I told her, hey, I saw your account, and are you still with the company? Are you still with your network marketing company? And that was it. That was all that started with. And then they responded back, yes, I am. And then we, kind of started talking back and forth. But that was the start of the conversation. Just some random person. And I said, hey, are you still with your company? And they said yes. And what this is evolved into, right, is I said at one point, what kind of started the conversation in a more important way, I guess I would say, is let's see if I can find it here. I asked her, no, I can't find it. I asked her about the comp plan. So I asked her about her comp plan. And when I asked her about her comp plan, that's what really caused the conversation to elevate. I asked her could she send me, I said, I'm always looking at learning about new companies. I'd be happy to take a look at your comp plan. And so she sent over the comp plan. It's been going back and forth for quite a while. Anyway, so I asked her about sending that over to me, and now she sent it back and forth to me. Well, what I found out, because I've said some things that are kind of like, she's like, huh? I'm like, oh, well, does your company do this? Because that would be a warning sign, right? Well, I know her company does that because I read her comp plan, right? So what's happening here is she's developing a level of trust and relationship, right? And I'm sure she's going back and verifying it, which is fine because I'm not lying to her, but I'm telling her this stuff, and now she's looking into her own comp plan, and what she's going to find is that the things I'm telling her really do exist. And I'm not telling her to be mean. I'm telling her because she's in a shitty comp plan, right? And I told her today in a message I sent her today, I said, having a great product and an outstanding attitude doesn't automatically make you successful in network marketing. Because if you don't have a great comp plan behind that, your success is I can tell you that you're not going to be successful if you don't have a great comp plan behind it. There's a lot of companies out there that have got horrible comp plans. They've got great product, but their comp plans aren't any good. I was talking to another team member I wouldn't call her team member. She's a customer, but she was with another company, and that company gave them a car, right? So they gave them a car allowance, if you will. So they got this car allowance. Well, get this. What they do is they tell you to go out and get a car, and that they will pay a certain amount towards that purchase of that car, towards the lease of that car. So she did. She went out and got her car, and they were sending her that dollar amount for the lease of that car. But then the company decided to change their pay structure, and they took away the auto incentive. That was one of the changes that they made in the thing. Well, guess what happens with the car? She still owns it. Her name's on it. Her credit's at risk. She's still got to make the payments on the car because the car dealership doesn't care. The car dealership qualified you based off of your ability to make the payments. So she had a huge problem. And when she went to turn the car in, she was told by the person that was there, you don't have any idea how many of these cars we're getting back right now, because they changed that plan. So everybody's turning their car back in. They're all getting hammered. Their credits are all getting hammered, but they're all turning their car back in. So anyway, just be aware of those kind of things, right? The other one that I can tell you right now to be aware of is if you see somebody who says that they've got a comp plan and they pay less for their product than the new person. Okay, that's a big warning sign. Oh yeah, well at my company, once I get to this particular portion, I don't pay anything for my product, or I pay a very small amount. Here's what happens with that. Michelle wants the discount. So Michelle, in order to get that discount, she needs to achieve something. Well, what some companies do is they encourage Michelle to buy that much more product just so they can get the discount. So now I've got Michelle who really wants to do well in the business, but she's really just buying more product so that she can get some menial discount, right? And so really what I'm doing is I'm burdening her financially, and eventually she's going to quit. Okay, that's what's going to happen. Eventually she's going to quit because she's going to be like, I can't afford that. Oh, and I had that. Tony Robbins talks about this, right? If you have something and that something is taken away, you're more mad than if you see it and you just can't have it, right? The analogy he gave is, because he talks about money. Somebody that has $1 million and loses half of it is going to be more distraught than the person that has $500,000 and wants to have $1 million, right? And he used the example of it. I think it was monkeys or something. They gave one monkey an apple, and the monkey was all excited about getting an apple. And they gave another monkey 2 apples, and the other monkey was super excited to have 2 apples. But then when they took the 1 apple away from the one monkey that had 2, that monkey was mad as hell. He still had 1 apple, but he's mad, right? So it's those kind of things that are important to recognize about ourselves. Anyway, we're past 7 o'clock. I hope you guys, I'll open it up for some questions. If you guys got questions about that book, as you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about it. I'm pretty excited about it. It's a very good book. Woob finally showed up. So we were talking about the book, Woob, you missed it.
I didn't know we were having a conversation before about the book.
Yeah, we were talking about it a little earlier. So, but I'll end the recording here. But does anybody